If you're driving in the United States right now, or planning to drive here soon, you need to hear this. Starting February 2026, 5 major driving law changes are rolling out across America, and if you miss even one of them, you could be looking at massive fines, license suspension, or worse, immigration complications that put your visa or green card at serious risk. I'm not exaggerating. One small traffic violation can now trigger a chain reaction that lands you in front of an immigration officer trying to explain why you didn't follow the law. So why should you care right now today? Because these aren't just annoying little updates buried in some government website. These are enforcement changes that police departments are already being trained on. That means officers on the road next month will be watching for these exact violations, and they won't give warnings like they used to. The grace period is over. If you're an immigrant, a student on F1, someone working on H1B, or waiting for your green card, even a minor traffic issue can become a red flag on your record. Immigration officers look at your driving history during interviews, background checks, and adjustment of status applications. A pattern of violations? That shows poor moral character, and that can cost you everything. Let me walk you through exactly what's changing, why it matters to you, and what you need to do right now to protect yourself. First up, the Real ID enforcement deadline is finally here. You've probably heard about Real ID before, maybe ignored the reminders, maybe thought it doesn't apply to you yet. Well, starting May 7th, 2025, which is just a few months away, if you want to board a domestic flight or enter a federal building, your old driver's license won't work anymore. You'll need a Real ID compliant license or another approved form of identification like your passport. Now, what does this actually mean for you? It means that regular driver's license you got from your state DMV a few years ago is about to become almost useless for anything beyond just driving your car. You won't be able to fly from New York to California for a job interview. You won't be able to visit a Social Security office or a federal courthouse. And here's the part nobody talks about. If you show up to an airport without proper ID and you're on a visa, that creates a record. TSA might pull you aside, ask extra questions, document the incident. Now you've got an unnecessary interaction with federal authorities on your file, all because you didn't update one document. Some states are making it even trickier. They're changing the requirements for what you need to bring when you apply for Real ID. We're talking original birth certificates, Social Security cards, proof of residency with your exact current address. Sometimes even 2 or 3 documents just to prove where you live. If you're renting and your name isn't on the lease, or if you're staying with a friend, this gets complicated fast. And if you're on a visa, you'll also need to show your immigration documents, your I-94 record, your visa stamp, maybe your EAD card. Miss one paper? They send you home and you have to start over. Here's what you do. Go to your state DMV website today, not tomorrow. Today. Look up the exact list of documents you need for Real ID. Gather everything now while you have time. Make an appointment if your state requires it, because wait times are getting longer as the deadline approaches. Don't wait until April and then panic when you can't get an appointment for 3 months. If you're on a visa, double-check that all your immigration documents are current and available. Keep copies, keep originals, keep everything organized in one folder. This is not the time to be scrambling. Second change, stricter DUI laws and immediate license suspension. This is huge, and this is where immigrants need to pay very close attention. Several states, including Texas, Florida, Georgia, and Arizona, are implementing zero-tolerance DUI enforcement starting February 2026. What does zero tolerance mean? It means if you're caught driving with a blood alcohol content of 0.08 or higher, your license gets suspended on the spot. Not after a court hearing, not after you get a lawyer, right there on the side of the road. But here's the part that affects visa holders and green card applicants even more. A DUI is not just a traffic ticket, it's a criminal offense. And any criminal offense, even a misdemeanor, gets reported to USCIS if you're in the immigration system. If you're applying for a green card, a DUI can be used as evidence of bad moral character. If you're renewing your visa, the consular officer will see it. If you're applying for naturalization, you might get denied outright. I've seen people lose job offers, get denied visa renewals, and even face deportation proceedings because of a single DUI. And it gets worse. Some states are now lowering the threshold for certain drivers. If you're under 21, the limit is 0.02. That's basically one drink. If you're a commercial driver, it's 0.04. If you get caught, you're done. Your CDL is gone, and if your work visa is tied to that job, your immigration status is now in jeopardy. So what's the reality check here? I've seen people on social media saying, just don't drink and drive, problem solved. And yes, obviously, that's the right answer. But let me be clear about something else. Even if you feel fine, even if you only had one beer with dinner, even if you think you're under the limit, do not risk it. The consequences are not worth it. Your future in America is not worth it. Use Uber. Use Lyft. Call a friend. Walk if you have to. There is no scenario where getting behind the wheel after drinking is a good idea for someone on a visa. Third change. Increased fines for distracted driving and cell phone use. This one sounds small, but it's adding up fast. Starting in February, states like California, New York, and Washington are doubling, sometimes tripling, the fines for using your phone while driving. We're talking $300, $400, even $500 for a first offense. Second offense? It can go over $1,000 in some places. Now, I know what you're thinking. A fine is just money, right? Pay it and move on. Wrong. Here's what actually happens. If you get multiple distracted driving tickets, points add up on your license. Too many points? Your license gets suspended. And if you're on a work visa and you need to drive to your job and suddenly you can't drive, what happens to your employment? What happens when your employer finds out you can't fulfill your job duties? Now your visa sponsorship is at risk. And there's another thing. Insurance companies are watching. If you get ticketed for distracted driving, your car insurance premium can skyrocket. I'm talking an increase of 30, 40, sometimes 50%. And if you can't afford insurance, you can't legally drive. No insurance means no car. No car might mean no job. No job means no visa. You see how fast this spiral happens? Here's the move. Put your phone away. Seriously, buy a phone holder, mount it on your dashboard. Use hands-free mode if you absolutely need GPS. Better yet, set your GPS before you start driving and don't touch it again. If you need to make a call or send a text, pull over to a safe spot, park, and then do it. I know it seems inconvenient, but getting pulled over, paying $500, and risking your immigration status is a lot more inconvenient. Fourth change. New rules on auto insurance coverage and proof of insurance. This is flying under the radar, but it's critical. Several states are now requiring higher minimum liability coverage starting in 2026. States like Florida and California are raising the mandatory minimums, and if you don't meet the new requirements, you're driving illegally. Let me break this down. Right now, in many states, you might have something like $25,000 in liability coverage. That was the legal minimum. But starting next month, some states are bumping that up to $50,000, $75,000, even $100,000. If your current policy doesn't meet the new minimum and you get pulled over, the officer will see that your insurance is not compliant. That's a ticket, a fine, possibly a court date, and yes, another mark on your record. And here's the immigration angle. If you're adjusting status, if you're applying for a green card, USCIS can ask about your driving record. If they see you were driving without proper insurance, that's evidence you're not following the law. That can hurt your case. It might not be the reason you get denied, but it adds to a pattern. And patterns matter in immigration. What do? Call your insurance company this week. Ask them if your current policy meets the new state minimums for 2026. If it doesn't, upgrade it now. Yes, it'll cost a little more per month, but it's a lot cheaper than getting a ticket, going to court, and dealing with immigration consequences. Also, keep proof of insurance in your car at all times, not on your phone. Physical proof. Some states are cracking down on digital proof, especially if your phone dies or you can't access it during a traffic stop. Fifth and final change. Enhanced penalties for driving without a valid license. This is the one that scares me the most for immigrants. Why? Because a lot of people don't realize their license has expired, or they're driving on an international license that's no longer valid, or they moved states and didn't transfer their license in time. Starting February 2026, if you're caught driving without a valid license, you're not just getting a ticket. In many states, your car can be impounded on the spot. You might get arrested. And if you're on a visa, an arrest, even if charges are dropped later, creates a record. You'll have to disclose it on future immigration applications. You'll have to explain it in interviews. It becomes baggage you carry for years. And let's talk about international licenses. A lot of students and new workers think they can drive on their home country license indefinitely. Wrong. Most states give you 30 to 90 days after you arrive to get a local license. After that, your international license is not valid. If you get pulled over, the officer will treat it like you're driving without a license at all. Impound, arrest, court, immigration complications. Here's your action plan. Check your license expiration date right now. If it's expiring soon, renew it immediately. If you move to a new state, transfer your license within the required time frame. If you're on an international license, find out your state's deadline and get your local license before that window closes. And if you're undocumented and can't get a license, please do not drive. I know that's hard. I know it limits your options. But the risk is too high. One traffic stop can lead to ICE involvement, detention, and deportation. It's not worth it. So let's do a reality check on what people are getting wrong about all of this. I've seen videos saying these law changes are just scare tactics, that nothing will really be enforced. That's dangerous advice. Police departments are being trained. Enforcement is ramping up. States are serious about this because they need revenue, and traffic fines bring in millions of dollars. Don't be the person who ignored the warning and then got hit with a $1,000 fine or worse. I've also seen people say, "I'm on a visa. Traffic stuff doesn't affect immigration." Completely false. Every interaction with law enforcement can affect your immigration case. USCIS does background checks. They pull driving records. They ask about arrests, citations, and violations. If you lie and say you've never had a traffic ticket and they find out you did, that's misrepresentation. That alone can get your application denied. Here's what you need to do right now. 1. Check if your license is Real ID compliant. If not, start the process today. 2. Never, ever drink and drive, not even a little. The consequences are catastrophic for immigrants. 3. Put your phone away while driving. Use hands-free or don't use it at all. 4. Call your insurance company and make sure your coverage meets the new 2026 minimums. 5. Verify your license is valid, current, and matches your state of residence. These 5 changes are not suggestions. They're not optional. They're the law. And starting next month, enforcement is real. Protect yourself. Protect your visa. Protect your future in America. I'm Joe from US Visa Path, and I'm here to keep your American dream safe. If this video helped you, hit that subscribe button right now, because I drop new updates every week on immigration rules, policy changes, and mistakes that could cost you everything. Don't learn these lessons the hard way. Stay informed, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one.